Hi, I'm Jimmy Anti,
And I'm Daegen Ursula Michelle.
and this is Dagen and Jimmy are in the green room. Today we are talking about jobs that we've had, that we've loved, that we've
Yes.
hated. Tell us about this look.
Well,
Fish.
literal
Fish.
squid. Yeah, pirated The Little Mermaid the other night.
But you didn't watch it, you just like skimmed
I
through it.
skimmed through it,
And she's joking when she says she pirated it. Love The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, you're giving one of the eels.
Period. Yes, it's Ursula and her eel.
Very that.
If you're just listening on one of your podcast apps, you better get on YouTube right now. Dagen and Jimmy are in the green room, and watch the
Yes.
video version of our episode.
Please do.
And you can see Dagen's giving Ursula, but like,
Ursula.
right? Like she's selling it,
Right.
For sure.
My first job was actually Ursula at Disney.
That was your first job.
No.
How old were
I'm
you?
kidding.
12.
Yeah, I was.
They
I
had you
was
doing
12.
child labor drag
Yes.
at Disney,
In Florida.
right? Well,
Go Florida.
that's very Florida.
Very Florida.
What was your first job?
My first job, I think Dollar Tree.
How old were you?
I was like, I think 21. I think I was 21 years old when I got my first job.
Okay, so what kept you from getting a job for so long?
Being trans,
Okay, and just like,
and living in a
would people
small.
not hire you, or was it the anxiety?
So what kept me from getting a job was being trans in a small town and the
Right.
anxiety associated with that.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, just not necessarily, there aren't jobs that are like, oh, we're trans friendly.
Right.
You know.
Especially in what year? In Carthage, Missouri.
Right. That would have been like,
Yeah. But you got your job. You got this job.
Yeah, I
you were
got a
21. Dollar Tree?
yes.
Okay.
A friend of mine got me the job. It was seasonal. We were literally like setting up for Christmas. So it was like the month of December. And
So you weren't even like a normal, like regular employee. You were like
No.
a seasonal, like you're
Yeah.
helping for the holidays.
yes, helping for the
And
holidays.
your goal, did you have like, were you trying to buy something? Like what made you like go and get the job? Or were you just like, okay, it's time that I get a job?
I was like, it's time I get a job. I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
I
Want to have
need-
money?
I need some spending money. Like, why not? And I like, one of my friends at the time got me the job. It was pretty chill. I worked overnight, so the store
Mhm.
was closed. And the thing that's cool about Dollar Tree is there isn't a SKU for anything. And for people that don't have jobs or have never had a job or have never worked in like a retail or like grocery or whatever you want to call it, there's like SKUs where you put things, not a Dollar Tree. It's just like, oh, this is the snack aisle, so you could just put anything wherever you wanted and
Oh.
like kind of make it look organized. So
No system.
no, there wasn't a system.
Just like an old country general store.
Very that.
Okay.
And the manager was crazy.
How long did you work there?
A month.
Oh, okay. What happened?
Um,
Fired, quit.
It was just seasonal, so it was literally
That
for
was
the
it?
month. Yeah, my job at Dollar Tree was seasonal, so it was for December. So I wasn't. They weren't going to continue employment.
Right.
So you like have the meeting with the manager where they're like, "Oh yeah, thank you so much, for working for the month of December. Here's your paycheck, and yeah, obviously like you won't continue to work here." Cool. So I got my money, and then the manager of the store ended up getting fired, and she made the front of the paper because she went to jail because she like emptied out the safe. But
Okay.
but girl, she got like $250. Like
Oh.
you made the paper for $250. Okay. Yeah. But it was fun. I worked overnight. My friend would pick me up at like literally 3 a.m. She would have my peppermint mocha coffee ready for me.
How was your friend your age?
No, my friend was like 18.
Okay, work.
Shout out to Tanya. Tanya's probably not watching this.
Did you get another job after this, like immediately, or was this like a one-off, like first dipping the toe into the water
This
kind of
is like the
moment?
dipping the toe into the water kind of moment.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure I got a job at the orange store.
The orange store?
Yeah, the orange store.
What's
the
that?
girlies know. The orange store. The one that's terrible to work for.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
the orange store.
Cosmetics.
Yes. again, another shady manager, um, literally got fired. Literally got fired. And then the whole team got fired. Like, everyone got fired.
Did you get fired?
Yeah.
Because the manager fired you.
We're, I don't want
I remember the
I don't,
story.
like, don't want to
Wait,
go into
I
that.
fully remember the story.
Like, should I go into that?
Okay, the story of how Daegen got fired from the orange store, is so funny to me because over the earpiece, I guess.
Okay, mind you, you
said something.
You have headsets, which is kind of cunt. Like,
Right.
I love a headset.
But you were
moment.
you were talking
Hear me
shit.
out. I wasn't talking shit. Literally, like,
Well, you kind of were.
No, the store wasn't even open.
Uh-huh.
It was the manager and then like 2 other associates with me.
Okay.
Like, that's it. And they're like, oh my God, have you seen the bathroom? There's like a bloody tampon on the floor. Like, gross, whatever.
Other people said that. That wasn't you. You just heard that.
No, I didn't say that. And then, like,
you were just like,
and then
bloody
they're like,
tampon check. Okay.
And then they're like, oh my God, so and so is drunk again today. Like, she's probably gonna come in drunk. Like, talking. They were like so
a coworker.
catty. Yeah, they were so catty and crazy. And
over the headset.
Yeah, over the headset. And I see this dude sitting like way out in the food court. Like, not obviously we're in a store that's locked and it's closed. We're not open yet.
Okay.
And this guy has like gauges in his ears, like the big holes, like stretched ears.
Yeah.
And I go, oh my God, you guys see that guy's ears? And they're like, oh yeah, cool, like gauges. And I was like, yeah. His ears look like my butthole after a fun Saturday night. A month later, they're literally like, yeah, we're going to let you go.
Wait, can you say it again?
His ears look like my butt after a fun Saturday night.
Stretched out.
Yeah, but it was so stupid.
Stretched out and flesh tone.
It was just so petty. They were basically what they were trying to do is they were just
looking for a reason.
Yeah, they were trying to fire.
So they were coming through the recordings and they found a reason.
Yeah, I'm like,
so okay. So you worked there after Dollar General, like you were like
Dollar Tree. Yeah.
Dollar Tree. Sorry, yeah. Don't want to get the Dollar Tree. There is a huge difference. They're different
Yes.
stores for sure.
So yeah, I worked there after, and then literally like I remember being cool with like a lot of the people I worked with, and like everyone was getting fired for like no reason.
Sure.
Like a girl like coughed one day, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're sick. You need to leave." And then they like took her off the schedule.
One, you were not asked back from seasonal, and the other, you were fired.
Yeah.
You're talking about stretched out earlobes looking like buttholes. Your butthole.
Which is like that's like the stupidest thing to fire someone
It's also,
for.
it's true. I feel like they can't fire you because it's true.
But also
your
it's
butthole
like
does look like a stretched out gauged earlobe.
The store is closed. You guys are saying the craziest shit about people and like doing crazy shit and like why also it's like always people stealing.
Did you like the job
manager
though?
Was stealing.
So it was a blessing.
Not really.
Count your blessings.
Yeah, I was blessed.
To get fired.
Yeah.
That's how you have to look at it.
Oh my God. Yeah. What about you? What was your first job?
So my first job, I started working way earlier than you. I was 15 years old. I literally couldn't even drive. I got my mom to agree to take me to work like 3 days a week. And I started working at age 15 at the Dairy Queen.
Love Dairy Queen.
Love Dairy Queen to this day. And I ate so much ice cream. I ate so much. Yeah, we walked to Dairy Queen and got cones yesterday. So I'm still a stan to this day. Like I didn't get turned off from Dairy Queen by working there. Probably should have because it was really gross.
Oh yeah.
And it was crazy the things that they like relied on a 15-year-old to do accurately in order for their business to run and meet like health and safety standards.
They're like, here, you're running the store.
Yeah, no, actually it was really crazy. And then I was 16 years old when I left because I didn't even work there for a year because it was so crazy and hectic. And I was like, as soon as I'm 16, okay, you cannot even work very many places until you're 16. So I got a job at Dairy Queen because I could work there when I was 15. But I turned 16. I stayed at Dairy Queen for like a few months and I was like, I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. I'm a grown woman now. I'm 16.
And if you try anything funny, you're gonna go to jail.
On my break, I would get like a Blizzard or an ice cream cone or some sort of ice cream. Yes. Not paying.
Oh yeah.
Of course not. But also I was being paid like $7.25 an hour. So, and working, and literally as a 15-year-old,
that's
working
still
with
the
other
minimum
15 and
wage.
16-year-olds to like 4 16-year-olds
Yeah.
keeping a Dairy Queen open at like 9 p.m. at night. So I didn't feel bad about taking free ice cream, except I physically felt bad for taking the ice cream. The worst thing was how bad all the fucking dairy made my acne.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was so bad, and I just ate so much dairy, and I got overworked, and then I like soothed myself with all that ice cream.
Yeah, I feel like that wouldn't be a bad job because of the
I mean, when
ice cream.
right, when I think
That
back
would
now,
make up for it. Yeah, that's what I would want. I
those
would
people
just.
down there are loud as fuck.
Should I go ask him to
Go,
shut the
yeah,
fuck
let them
up?
just shut the fuck up.
Hey, can you shut the fuck up down there? Not you. These people outside.
Yeah, but it was like really horrible actually. So it wasn't like when I think back now, I think about the ice cream a lot, but really it was like long nights and like lots of hard scrubbing and cleaning and like really horrible mean customers. Like on my first day, these people ordered blizzards, large blizzards, and then they wanted every single candy that we had in the blizzard, and so I made it for them. And then
It wouldn't even be good.
They no, it wasn't. It's like it's crazy. Anyway, and then I made it for them, and then they're like, "This is gross," and then they threw them, like crushed them up and like smeared the ice cream all over the front door of the Dairy Queen. My first day. My first day. And so I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be fun.
Sounds about right.
It was bad. But then girl, when I was 16, I'm like, I can get a better job. So I hightailed it out of there.
Up the road.
Up the road, literally up East Sunshine, if you're a Springfield, Missouri girly, from the Dairy Queen all the way to the Panera Bread. And I worked at that Panera Bread for over 5 years.
That's a long
Well, we
time.
moved. We like moved a little bit further down Sunshine, but like that Panera, I worked there for a long time. And was equally as bad for my mental health, but I don't know, maybe the broccoli cheddar soup just kept me longer than the ice cream.
Yeah, I
did.
was like, was the Panera better than the Dairy Queen?
Yeah, I think the food was better.
Better food, cooler people.
And it was less like it didn't have to be as fast. Speed was a big aspect of it, especially because I was like a drive-through girly at Panera. But compared to Dairy Queen, it just like wasn't the same. Like people were horrible, but less horrible than they were at Dairy. And so I was like, oh, I'm really moving up the ladder. And then the pandemic happened, and I still worked at Panera, and people, yeah, are really horrible. Maybe it's just a Red City thing. Oh,
We have a guest.
We have a guest.
Miss Helvetica Black Stool.
Actual green room? That's crazy.
wait.
Okay, Ursula, please.
Very that.
You're giving it to me for sure.
I'm
Well,
giving you something.
Okay, so what am I saying? I'm DMing Kitty.
Yeah, kids say, like, Helvetica left her,
Dick
like,
in a box.
yeah. Helvetica left, you make us beautiful. Helvetica left
Me?
both of you.
Oh, who are you talking to
I
though?
was talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Because, look, I was saying,
Well, when Kitty comes back with your phone, you can get in the car.
they didn't have to leave. So, I'm
Is your phone in your car?
Yeah, do you feel like you are okay? I love that it's not an actual shell, that it's just a piece of paper.
Well, excuse me, this was my mother. She's dead.
She really?
Yeah.
Your mom's dead?
Yeah.
It's kind of cunty.
It is.
Should leave with that more.
Tell her. Wait. Give her the cliff notes of how it happened.
How your
though.
mom died.
She went to bed dead. How do you wake up dead?
She lit. Okay, so first jobs. What's your like absolute worst job experience ever? Like
A
maybe not your
blowjob.
worst. Wow.
A blowjob is.
What's like what's like
Worst.
the worst thing that's ever happened to you at work?
This is so camp. But one time when I worked at Walmart, I dropped my phone like in the back room, like underneath one of the things where things are kept, like the shelves.
Okay.
And I reached down to grab it, and I had a piece of glass go in my wrist. And it never came out until like years later. And I literally was like, oh my God, what's this hard bump on my wrist? And I like scratched it, and like a piece of glass popped out.
Did you get workwoman's compensation?
No, I didn't ever tell anyone. I didn't know that there was glass in my wrist until it like came out years later. What else? When my boss was 16.
Well, you've been fired multiple times.
Literally, Walmart's attendance policy is literally transphobic.
Not you just trying to tell like a casual, like, oh, this was weird story. And I'm like, you've been fired.
Okay, so Walmart, I remember I worked like 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. full time, like 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I get to work at like 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And I'm parked in the parking lot. I'm like, oh, cunt, I'm here early.
Right.
I'm just going to close my eyes for a second.
No.
I woke up at 4:20, of course, of all the times.
Well.
Run in the building, clock in. And then a week later, it's like 15 minutes till my shift's over. And they're like, Daegen Michelle to the back room. Daegen Michelle to the back room.
Yikes.
And I'm like, okay, cunt. So
You're like, I'm getting a raise and a promotion.
Right. Well, baby, I got an $800 check. And they were like, thank you. Have a great day. Turn in your badge and your vest.
Your vest.
Yeah. Turn
Not
in
your
your badge,
badge.
your gun, your vest. Leave it on the table.
Walmart employees stay
Yes.
strapped.
And I was just like, oh, we had to be. It was crazy.
Well, especially in Missouri.
Like, yeah, this one of my friends, Betty Jean, that I worked with, she literally was tatted the fuck up. Old tatted.
her name was not Betty
It
Jean.
was literally Betty Jean.
Work.
Betty Jean, and her,
Oh.
she was tatted up.
Movie recording has been stopped automatically.
And oop.
Well, eat my ass with my anus. Okay, her name was not Betty Jean.
Yes, so I worked with a woman at Walmart named Betty Jean, and she's covered in tattoos. And one time we're stocking shelves, you know, we're up on the ladders, and this man walks up to her and goes, "You're going to hell. You are going to hell because you were covered in tattoos." And she literally like started quoting scripture at him and
Oh,
like
got him
was-
together?
Yes, got him
Because she
together.
was religious.
Yes, because she was very that. I lived off.
Do you know any Bible verses?
Do I know any Bible verses? Yes, I do. How could it be little me had the power to be the best beat in the league? Yeah, inevitably, but could it be little me? I'm done. No. Pull the thorn out of your eye before you wait. Pull the log out of your eye before you point out the
Is
thorn
that a
in
Bible?
mine.
Is that a Bible verse?
If you come on your hand, cut it off. I read the entire.
Yeah.
I read the entire Old Testament when I was in juvie.
Alexa, what is John 3:16? For God so loved the world, he gave his... Oh, she's telling us about John 316, a 2020 film.
Leviticus.
Alexa, off.
Alexa, volume 10. Alexa, what's the verse about transgender people in the Bible?
I wonder what she has to say about this.
I'm not sure what you want me to do.
Oh.
I can read a book, chapter, or verse from the Bible.
Alexa, fart.
What can I read for you?
Alexa, off.
She said she's
Anyway,
she's
yeah.
interested in intellectual pursuits only.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Betty Jean was her name.
Betty Jean.
Brittany
Shout out to Betty
Jean.
Jean. Or one time I worked at like a stained glass studio
No, you
for
didn't.
a week, and I like cleaned for
No,
this
you
lady.
didn't.
And it
I
was
didn't know
fun.
this.
It was kind of fun.
What
That was in
happened? Why only a
Carthage.
week?
Because she just
You broke all the stained
she
glass.
died. I think she died.
After you worked there for a week, you knocked over
I-
all the
I think
stained
she's
glass
dead
onto
now.
her.
No. No, I was like,
Okay. If anyone on the
Maybe that was
Carthage
actually
Police
my
Department
first job.
is investigating the death
Fuck
of
the
a
Carthage
stained
Police
glass business
Department.
owner, well,
wow, yeah.
I think my least favorite job that I've ever had.
I don't even think I said what my least favorite job was at all that entire time.
Okay, well, what was yours? What was yours?
Working for a 16-year-old.
Oh, who owned the salon? Allegedly.
He didn't own it, bitch. They rented it.
But that they were like marketing.
yeah, and now it's like a medical marijuana dispensary.
The building is.
Yeah, but that was just crazy.
And
That's when I was also working.
you were
at
being
Walmart.
forced to like do services for the owner that you weren't being paid
Yes,
for.
literally, like, oh, you have a highlight, and her hair is literally to the floor, and it's gonna take you like 3 hours to do it. Oh, you're not getting paid because she cleans the toilets here, but you.
So you had to do the work, but you weren't. It like
All the
that
time.
is crazy. But and
Yeah.
technically, the owner was a 16-year-old.
Yeah, because he had like a successful laundry soap business when he was like 8. I'm
Not
like,
wage
okay, cool.
theft from a 16-year-old.
Right. And remember, like, my last check from there was like $11, and I was literally like, "Hi, okay, so I'm taking a mental health break." Like, the boss was like, are you out of makeup? Because I can see your beard. Do you need money? How much is your foundation?
And you're like, yeah, actually,
It was it's $100.
the only foundation that works on me is $100.
Yeah. And what did she do? She gave me $100. Or, oh, you're not allowed to cut with shears. You're not allowed to cut with scissors. You can only cut with like a razor. Or, oh, you're doing highlights. Okay, you have to pull the hair through a cap. We're doing cap highlights. You're not using foils. Like, bitch, what?
that is crazy.
You are smoking deep fried dick. Like, you do hair for like literal people that eat children that were on Epstein Island that like give you $50,000 checks. So like, and then they're good. They're like, okay, well, this will cover our hair until we die, right?
And then
know.
and then she makes other people do it.
Yeah.
And doesn't pay them for the work.
Yeah. Like I did a lot of roller sets. I did a lot of razor cuts. Saw a lot of warts. The camp part of it all was they lived next door to this place, and the mom had a salon built into her house, like next door. So it was like a full salon, and then you walked through a fucking hallway and you were in their actual house. And then literally the space they were renting was in the same parking lot.
And you hated it.
It was just crazy. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm out here smoking a cigarette on my break, making eye contact with my fucking boss while she's taking a shit. I'm like, this is just
in
weird.
her house.
This is just weird. And like this,
And it's her day off.
and it's her day off, right? And like yeah,
but
it
she's
was
shitting in
just-
the yard.
probably.
So that was
Right.
another.
But I
negative
mean,
about
I
working there.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to talk about drag. I wasn't allowed to have stubble on my face because
And look at you now, proudly wearing stubble
Stubble.
on your face on the internet.
period.
So,
Yeah,
I think my least favorite job.
it's drag.
Well,
You hate it.
my least favorite job. I worked at a boutique, and I actually loved the like work that I was like. I loved doing displays. I loved going through all of the damaged returns and texting my boss to see if I could take home, like literally.
It was like playing cash register.
Yeah. And
But,
it was
like-
like so slow there that it was a lot of sitting around and doing homework. So that was nice.
Yeah.
But I had this boss, and they were crazy. And the conditions at work were never great. Like there was always a conversation that needed to be had with the owner. And so there was one point in time where I'd go to have a conversation with the owner, and I wasn't asking for much. Like she expected that I was asking for a raise, right? Like she thought I was coming and asking for a raise. Really, I was going to ask her to like have the schedule out with like 2 weeks in advance so that we could like plan our lives accordingly. Like it was one of those things where it's like, hey, can you like respect our time?
Right.
But she was like, yeah, actually, we're not going to give you a raise. And if you're ever like hungry or something, you could ask your grandma if she could make you lunch or something. And I'm like, okay, that's literally the craziest thing ever to say to someone because I
What?
wasn't even asking for a raise.
And also, like, why did your grandma get brought in?
Right.
Your grandma.
Well, she told me, she was like, well, when
don't
I was in
have a
college,
grandma.
sometimes I was so broke that I had to ask my grandma to make me food so I could eat. And I'm like, you don't know anything about, like, what if my grandma's dead? That's just a crazy thing to say to someone. And it was like, you didn't even know, you thought that you knew what I was going to ask you about. And you were wrong. And it made the crazy thing that you said stand out as even crazier.
Oh, no.
And there were other things that happened. Like once we were like at a training for, just like how to do your job. And it was like a full staff meeting, like on the day that we were closed. And the owner's spouse started going off about how the minimum wage was too high and small businesses can't afford the minimum wage. Meanwhile, we were all being paid the minimum wage and we were all about to like this was before the unionizing wave that we're like living in right now, but we were all literally like ready to unionize like and they were in a meeting talking about how the minimum wage was too high and we're like what the fuck. And so working for a shitty local business owner may be worse than working for a shitty corporation because it's a person who knows you personally and looks you in the face and lets you know, I personally know your life and I'm still
Right.
going to underpay you for all your work and labor. And then be fucking rude to you about it on top of all that.
Right. Also, like, what the minimum wage in Missouri is like $7.
No, it's higher now.
wow.
And I got raises. I mean, I didn't get raises. I got paid the minimum wage the whole time I worked there, but thankfully the minimum wage rose. And what eventually started happening is I was like so anxious about going there that like I literally could not be like I'm not a person that's late to work.
Yeah.
Like I'm serious about that. Like I'm very punctual when it comes to work, but I could not. Like I was missing shifts. I would literally, I don't take naps during the day. Usually I'd like take a nap and I'd like miss work. And I'm like, okay, I'm not consciously doing this, but there's some reason that I am unable to go to this job.
Right.
And so I very quickly saw the pattern that was forming. I missed like 2 shifts or something in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, this is done.
Yeah.
So I quit. And I was like, it was the best quitting experience of any job that I've ever had. Because I worked there at the same time as other jobs because I held
Yeah.
multiple part-time jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, leaving there was like freedom. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it. I hope there's an episode here. I really hope there's an episode here.
Yeah, I really hope there's an episode here too. I love my current job. It's great. I love
our current job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to
I love
strategically
this job of us.
So far we've made no money. Actually, I've paid money for a podcast hosting subscription. So far this job has
Period.
cost us money.
So Venmo, Daegen and Jimmy are in the
Venmo,
pocket.
yeah, actually, so send us a Venmo, and then we can say that this is a job.
Yeah.
So we would love to. So we
But
would
the
like to make
but if you work for the IRS,
we were
don't
just
watch
kidding.
this. Yeah.
But
We're
we
not
would-
making anything.
We would like to make this our favorite job, so please, my Venmo is Jimmy Anti. That's JIMMYANTI. And as you
My
know,
Venmo is
Venmo Daegen Michelle.
yeah, DAEGENMICHELLE.
You can also follow us at those same handles on Instagram and TikTok and anywhere that matters.
Twitter.
Yeah, okay.
Feet Finder.
This has been Daegen and Jimmy
Daegen and Jimmy are
in the green room.
Yes.
Yes. Tune in next week or in 8 days. It just depends on when I edit the next episode. Bye.
Bye.